Welcome to Papa Junk Shop. Yeah, I thought I'd start on another project. I don't know if you've watched some of my other videos, but I mentioned about the Grizzly tent sale. One time I bought a whole pallet full of these miniature drill presses. I think there were 6 of them. After the thing was over with and everybody was leaving, I talked to the guy and made a deal with him. I fixed up a few for myself, and this is one that I have left yet. And I thought I'd try making a miniature radial drill press. And my thoughts are, got a pretty nice flat surface right here, exception of these nubs sticking out for the motor mount. I figured on maybe milling that off flat, putting a couple of pieces of key stock, maybe cut a groove in here and here so they're nice and parallel with everything, and in turn have that key stock right on a rail in a couple of grooves. Of course, I won't be using any of this. I got a piece of heavy-duty channel iron that I think I can make a base out of, and gonna give it a shot. The drill press isn't good for much of anything else. Have to make a column. Probably have to make some castings to hold the arm itself and the post. The post, of course, is going to be bigger than this original one. These drill presses were robbed of parts, along with whatever reason they were returned to begin with. And this one, you can see right here, has a chunk broken out of where the post mounts on the base. So I'm thinking probably that's why it was returned. Then they robbed some parts off them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speeds, and this is one of them that oscillates up and down. I don't know if any of you ever seen how they work, but there's a little arm in there and it just pushes on the top of the spindle, works it up and down. There's a little, well, it's almost like an O-ring that goes on here. But that's what I'm going to give a try. Well, I got the drill press head all disassembled, and I took the tag off the front, and that had been machined. So I'm using that as a surface to hopefully get everything nice and square. And I put it on my die table over there and run the spindle out as far as it goes, and it's only off by, I don't know, I think it was about 1.5 or 2 thousandths, so it's going to be close enough for this project. This thing isn't going to be made to do heavy duty drilling. It's just a fun project, and once in a while you want to drill something. Well, the other day I wanted to drill something, and of course it wouldn't fit in the drill press, and then you got to do it by hand. It turns into kind of a mess. So in the Bridgeport you can extend out farther, but too much work to get it all trammed back in. So just thought I'd give this a shot. So what I'm going to do now is mill these nubs off here and get this flat, and then gather some other materials and make a plan for what I think I'm going to do. Now I got the nubs for the motor mount bracket gone, so I'll be able to get my final few passes here. So thought I'd let you see that. half of this casting stuck up farther from probably from the pattern. It's just about leveled out now. Well, I think one more light pass, and then I'll level this off here, and I think we'll be good. Okay, I got that drill press head out of the mill, brought it over here on the die table, and I was checking it, and this surface here is parallel with the quill here, so this should be parallel with the quill too. So, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but it seems nice and flat, doesn't catch anywhere. I think that part of it's going to be good. So far so good. And this is the part that I'm going to use for my arm. And my original thoughts were to put like a couple pieces of key stock in here, you know, with a groove, but there isn't a lot there, and it means I'd have to cut 2 grooves all the way along here and another 3rd groove all the way through in order to lock it down. So I kind of rethought some of that. So this is how it's gonna go, and it'll slide along here. And this piece is 1/2 inch thick, and it seems to be really, it's stained, but it's nice and smooth. Seems to be flat. I measured it with the calipers, and it seems to be true. So over here in the cutoff saw, I've got a piece of inch thick by 3.5 cutting off, and it's going to be 4.5 inches this way. So what I plan on doing is milling a little bit more than 1/2 inch so that it sticks out on the back side just a whisker, and make it the same width as this so it slides on there nice snug. And then I'm going to attach that to the back of the drill press head. And I thought, you know, if I had to, I could actually put a gib in there and make it so I could adjust it. And on the back side, it'll stick out just a little past, and I thought I'd put a plate on there, and then I could have my locking mechanism on the back side. So that's the plan so far, but you know how plans are, they change. Tonight when I go nighty-night, I might have a dream and it'll all be different in the morning. But that's the plan for now. Okay, I got the most of the material out of the slider. That took a while. And it sure made a mess of the mill. I don't know if I've ever had that many shavings piled up on it before. But I got about 9 thousandths more to go this way. And we'll give it a trial fit. I can see right now my handle's in the way of the camera. I'm going to have to move it. Well, that didn't do too much, so I'll go ahead and get that to size, and I'll show you the fit when I get done. Okay, I got the groove finished up, and it measured 3.5 plus 1/1000, and seemed to have a pretty nice fit. I don't see a lot of wiggle in it. Well, I don't see any wiggle in it when you go like this sideways. And it seems to be smooth. So I think that's going to work out fine. So we'll get that out of there and try to figure out how to get her attached onto the drill press head, and then get this back plate that's going to go on here with a probably a, I don't know, handle on here that'll lock this in place once you get it adjusted. Okay, before I take that out of there, think I'm going to take a 3/4 file and run back in there to relieve them corners a little bit. I really don't have anything that I can put in the mill that I can think of that I could do that with. And hopefully when I take this out of the vise too, it isn't going to change the shape of it, but we'll know in a few minutes. Okay, this is my setup for getting the drill press head straight this way. I know it's parallel this way with this because of all of this. So now where I got to position it on this slider, so I clamped the rail in there, I got the slider there, and I used the table to back that up firm against that. And I have the top part of the quill where the pulley goes on just happened to fit a 7/8 collet, so I got that in there. And I got a dial indicator on the quill itself, and I have it held in place with that, so that would be like the maximum travel. And I got it set so that if I crank the table up and down, I got the dial indicator so she stays pretty good and straight. So I'll crank that down. Matter of fact, I'm really surprised that I could get it that close. So now that I know I got it squared up that way, I just got to figure out a way to clamp this onto there and then take it off of there, and I'm going to drill through this into the back, and I have some countersunk Allen head screws that I'm going to go into that casting with to hold it in place. So I'm going to see if I can get that figured out and that done. Okay, I got the back plate made, goes on the back of the slider. Decided to pour a little casting rather than machining another hunk of iron. Besides that, things start to get heavy. I made about 3/4 inch thick. This will be the locket once you get it in position. Made a little handle for it, and cut a little recess in here. Going to put this steel insert in there, and that'll push up against the plate. So how that's going to go is you're balanced. Then there's 4 bolts that go in here. This is the first time I've had it together, so I'll see if it's going to work. Well, there we go. So it slides there alright. Now I got a nice fit on that. And then I can lock that. And now she don't slide. it's kind of hard to do with it sitting on the bench. But that's how that part's going to work. Of course, this will be mounted on there like that. I don't know if I can. Yeah, that's a little friendlier that way. So things are coming along. Next, I guess I'm going to have. I think I'm going to make a like a lead screw that goes across here, and I can crank it into place and then lock it. So that's what I'll be working on next, I believe. Well, I made some progress with the, I don't know, I call it a lead screw. It's going to move this back and forth on the track. I got it set up in the mill so everything was nice and square. And I drilled a hole for half 13 all the way through both sides. And then I tapped it, but when I went to tap it, I ran into a snag. Because I know if I tap it from this side and I tap it from this side, when I go to screw that screw in, them threads aren't going to line up. So I went to look for a long tap, and of course I've got a 7/16 long tap and I've got a 5/8 long tap, but I didn't have a 1/2 inch one. So I messed around trying to figure out how I was going to solve that problem, and I come up with this. I don't know if anybody else has ever done anything like this or not, but I found a tap that's got a 3/8 shank here, and I took a short piece of 1/2 inch 13, drilled a 3/8 hole, and I screw a nut on all the way to the end, so it's about half still on the threads. Put some Loctite on the shaft here, bring this down, screw it on, and now the threads line up on both pieces. So I let it set overnight. Take this off. I tap through the first part, and then this part is still in line with these threads. Held it in place while I tapped through the second part, and it turned out pretty good. This is the screw, and I can put her right in there. Comes right out the other end. Oop. And doesn't seem to be swapping it either, so that turned out alright. So what I did, I turned this end of this all thread down to 3/8, because that's about where the threads disappear. And I made an end piece to go on the end of the rail, and I'm probably going to bore that out for a brass bushing, but I don't have one, so I got to pick one up. So that's going to go on there, and then my handle will go on here to move that back and forth. So I haven't tried it all put together yet, so let me put it all together and we'll give it a try. like that, is it? Okay, gonna have to rethink that. Okay, I moved the rail up in the vise so there's clearance for this now. Alright. I'll just use the drill because I don't have a handle made yet. Think she's gonna work. I didn't put that little metal puck in here, so I'm not gonna try tightening it down, but once I get it in place, I just turn that handle on the back and it should secure it right in place. But well, of course I got some movement there, but I don't have the handle on there yet. But I think this part of it's coming along pretty nice. Not sure what the next move will be, whether it'll be make the end for here that's going to go on the post or just what, but keep watching. It's going to be. Got the mold made for the base, yeah, for the post, base for the post. It's going to go right down in here. It's a little over 5 inches high. 4.5 inches this way, and I think this was 6.5, and 2x6s. I sawed out 3 sections with a hole saw, and I cut this one out by hand, glued them all together, stuck it on the lathe, put some taper on here so I could pull it out of the sand mold, and on here. And I'm going to have a handle on here similar to the one that was on the back of the slider. And in order to do that, I need a little beefier piece in the casting. And this is the piece that's going to go on there for that. And I never did it like this before. Well, I'll just show you what I'm going to do. I got the mold all set up here. I'm going to pour it open top, and I put that base in there, filled that up to the, well, up to where that boss sticks out. I put the boss in place, continued filling it all the way up to the top, and I pulled the mold out. And then this was embedded in the sand, and I got 2 little holes there. I reached in with a pair of long nose pliers, got a little bend on the end of them, pinched it, worked it up and down, back and forth a little bit, and it came right out. And then I have it just sitting on a bed of sand. So I never tried it like this, don't know if it's going to work. Oh, and the center is for the center hole, so I don't have to bore out so much. That's going to be sacrificial. That was 2.5 inch, I think. Same thing, stacked up the wooden pieces. And I wrapped it with a piece of sheet metal. I'm sure that's going to burn up, but it doesn't matter as long as we got a hole. And that's bolted all the way down through to the bottom to hold it in place. Got a couple weights on it. So, see what she looks like in a little bit. The furnace is running.